Live from WKMG, Local 6 News starts right now.
A new development tonight in the fight to legalize same-sex marriage in Florida. One group has filed lawsuits to keep weddings from happening January 6th. Now, one of the lawsuits filed by Florida Family Action is against the Osceola County Clerk of Court. The other lawsuit the group filed is against Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer and Circuit Judge Bob LeBlanc. Now, the group says it's because all three men plan to officiate same-sex marriages when the ban is lifted next week. But the big question, would same-sex couples who are getting married or clerks issuing marriage licenses actually be breaking the law come midnight January 6th?
Now, this is a very complicated issue. A federal judge has already ruled in Washington County the gay marriage ban is unconstitutional. Attorney Stephen Kramer joins us now to talk about all this. Stephen, thank you so much for stopping by.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. One of the biggest debates about this whole issue right now is if this is just for Washington County or for the entire state.
Well, and the issue is that that can cut either way. Usually, if there's a federal judge that makes a ruling and says that an issue like this is unconstitutional, that applies statewide. However, the judge arguably entered an injunction directed only to the Washington County Clerk of Court. So there's some issue there. And it's been complicated because the attorney for the Clerks Association has said that the clerks could possibly be prosecuted if they go ahead and issue these licenses.
Okay, and that was going to be our next question. The
Sure.
clerks are saying that they are afraid that they could be prosecuted. Could something like that possibly happen?
It's possible. At the same time, you've seen some clerks express concern about that. You've also seen some state attorneys come out and say, hey, we're not going to prosecute these clerks of court. And there's an argument here, because when you're a constitutional officer like that, your first duty is to the U.S. Constitution. That's the supreme law of the land. And that takes precedent over Florida law. And like it or not, like the federal court's decision or not, until an appellate court reverses it or until the U.S. Supreme Court reverses it, that is the law of the land. And it's an arguable position that the clerks could go ahead and issue these licenses because they're in compliance with the judge's order and with the Constitution.
Just seems like limbo right now. This is the way it comes across.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
A lot of confusion. So say a couple gets married. And then a judge says this is only for this particular county. What happens then?
Well, the bigger question is whether different clerks throughout the state in different counties can issue these licenses. But if a couple goes to Washington County, that's a Florida marriage. And if no other clerks issue them, you better believe there's going to be a line in Washington County. The big question is, what happens to these marriages if people get married now and then the appellate court comes out and they say, no, gay marriage bans are permitted. It's not constitutionally protected to be married for same-sex couples. What happens then? Are those marriages void? That's something we don't know. And there's a good argument that if the appellate court says that gay marriage isn't constitutionally protected, those marriages are void.
Do you have any, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but I wish you did, because it really is a confusing issue. What do you think might happen?
I think that we're going to see some clerks go ahead and issue marriage licenses. We're going to see some that aren't. And this is going to be a murky issue. In the end, this is an issue that's going to be decided by the Supreme Court. We've got gay marriage now in over 30 states. And we have a ripe issue for the Supreme Court now, because before, it could have come up this term. The Supreme Court could have taken it, but they didn't. Because what had happened was every appellate court in the country had ruled that gay marriage was protected until just recently one circuit said it wasn't constitutionally protected. So now you got conflict. And if the Supreme Court takes it up, we'll have a final resolution.
All right. So the timeline is still in flux.
It is.
All right.
Although January 6th, there will be same-sex marriage on January 6th. That's the one thing we know. We just don't know in what counties you'll be able to get those licenses.
All right. We're going to need you to stick around for a while to guide us through all this.
Glad to be here.
Stephen Kramer, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Our coverage of this issue continues on clickorlando.com. By the way, Local 6's Lewis Bolden is also working on this story. He spoke to the Osceola County clerk, who says he's ready to start issuing marriage licenses. We'll have an update on the news coming up at 6.